back so many times. It's the male members who would come in the room, the female would be sitting outside the cabin, and they would say, "Ki ma'am, nikal do, farak nahi padta." So I said, "Have we spoken to the patient?" "No ma'am, there is no need to talk to the patient. We are the decision makers." And I said, "How can you be the decision maker?" And then they get annoyed. So one day, honestly, I had this discussion with the family, and I said, if suppose this cancer had affected you and it had affected the male part, would you have allowed your female to let it be chopped off? And trust me, the person got so annoyed and he walked off and he said everything possible to me. But trust me, this is happening every day. And with the help of radiation treatments, it is now possible to preserve the breast of women. So similarly, so why do we need to preserve? Because this is something which a female will see every day. This is not something, it is not just a cosmetic organ. It has so many things to do, you know. And it's not just for intimacy, but it gives a woman a confidence to walk with her head held high in the society. And moreover, I think this is one thing, if both the breasts are preserved, then the female is not reminded every day that she is suffering from cancer. So she can lead a normal life. So I insist a lot that poetry also the same, that by my breast, my decision. So and similarly, so many other things happen. It's not just the breast cancer that I'm talking about. If we talk about cervical cancer, then when you give radiation or you do surgery, then it leads to a lot of vaginal stenosis, and they are not able to have intimacy. And women don't come and ask me, what should we do about it? So I tell them that there is something like cervical dilator which you can use post radiation, which will keep the passage open. And when I tell them, the females will look down as if I've told them something wrong. Or if I tell the males that you should take it, I give them the numbers, you can have this from here, nobody orders. And then someday they'll come and say, "Ki ma'am, my husband doesn't love me anymore." Or there have been instances when women have been asked to leave their jobs by their employers. They have been asked, "Ab to tum kuch nahi kar sakti ho." So I said, a body part was affected, it's not your brain which has been affected. So who can stop you from working? So they get so many, it's not just emotional problem, cancer is a financially draining problem, it's a psychological problem, it's an emotional problem. There are so many things which are happening, but unfortunately we are not giving any thought to it. And even if I try at my level to guide those patients to see doctors, Dr. Jyoti or Dr. Seema is there, or other colleagues in the psychology space, patients are not ready to go. They are not even ready to take a call and take help. Where anonymous help also, nobody is ready to do. So this is a big problem. So this is not just affecting your body image, it is affecting your job prospects, it is affecting the way you will be treated, it is broken bones. So many female, they come and tell me that my husband doesn't love me anymore, and we are not addressing those issues. Trust me, I think every month I mean, at least giving 2 or 3 talks on big social platforms. But in my 30 years of career, not even a single meeting, full day meeting has been dedicated to sexual health or body image. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, this is such a big problem. So many times patients go into depression. So I tell them cancer is just a diagnosis. It should just change the way you live your life. It's not an end to life. So you can still go, you can, one of my patients, she's a brain tumor survivor, and she she went to Everest, I mean not Everest but exactly, I mean she does all those things. So I have mountaineering. I had a 90-year-old patient, 85, when he was diagnosed at the age of 87. When I asked if you can do it, and he dedicated it to me.
I think these are very empowering messages that you've been giving. But in context of International Women's Day, I believe that there are 2 takeaways. One, that women should be allowed to make decisions, and 2, women should not need to be allowed to make decisions. So when we are talking about allowed, we are seeking permission. Why should we be seeking permission? So I think as doctors, both of you and the other empowered people who actually stand, I mean, I have done it, stand in my clinic and fought for the woman. So, so we have to start fighting for our own kin, our own community, the women. So I think she'll go to the next question.
Let's go to the next one, please. So I think we've again covered, but then let's touch upon this part that how can we as doctors and caregivers provide emotional support alongside with medical treatment? If you can just quickly brief it up.
So I think the most important thing is just to listen to the patient. The most important thing is just listen, give them some time. वही मुश्किल होता है because in a busy OPD you are not able to give time. So at least let them express what they have to express. Expressing itself, I think, is half of the emotional recovery starts from there. And we have to give them options or at least understand what is the basic concern. So that is what is very, very important. And if we don't have time, trust me, in every hospital I've tried to incorporate a psychologist. I've told them that we should have a package because people don't go. They don't go to a psychologist. I tell them, आप मेरी फीस कम कर दो first visit, but at least make a package. अगर if my charges are 2,000, please make my charge 1,000 and give 1,000 to the psychologist at least when they're diagnosed, so that they know how to deal with this. And so the patients need emotional support not just at the time of diagnosis, but even when the treatment is finished. When you tell them that okay, today your treatment is over, they feel abandoned. So they need hand holding throughout their lives. It's not just at the time of diagnosis. They need a lot of rehabilitation support, they need a lot of nutritional support, they need a lot of psychological support. So I think my one take would be that every hospital, every oncology service should have a mandatory consultancy. So this would be, if you want to ask me, that listen to them, and
that is rightly said. I think catharsis does most of the part, and then we'll generally take it forward from there. I think the next dignitary, please, and this is for Dr. Alma. Okay, so ma'am, women themselves face discrimination, but when, as a woman, you struggle with a limitation, how does it change the scenario? And some would think, sympathy helps at times. What do you have to say on that?
I think whenever you want to sympathize with someone, whether it's women who are minoritized versus men, or in this case, people with different abilities who are actually doubly minoritized if you're women, right? First women who have different ability. Sympathy is just, it doesn't go anywhere, you can sympathize with someone, oh, sorry, but I think what we really want to do is empower people, right? We want to empower women or women with disabilities, and that's actually about steps like what we're here today, right? So thank you to Dr. Jyoti for putting together this platform for, empowering women and raising much needed talks. Empowering women, like you said, having a psychologist, mandatory, oncology is really important because people are suppressed, women, then there's women with disabilities, we are suppressed because, everyone goes to reproductive issues, want to talk about sex, and those are taboo subjects in our society, in our culture. And I think when there's someone there to listen, to give a helping hand, to say, hey, it's okay, I think that's when we all feel empowered and say, okay, yeah, it's okay for me to feel this way. So, so in my line of work and in my experience, yes, I do see sympathy a lot, but sympathy does not take us anywhere. It's really about empathy. It's about really engaging yourself into the issue. And it's not about being friends with your patient, right? If you've all seen the movie Motorbike, right, there's a scene in which they say, before you get to your patient, hot so it's the same idea, but until and unless you're in the space of being able to lend that shoulder or give empathy, you're not really putting forward the envelope. You have to be willing to open yourself and be willing to, push the other person forward rather than just say, oh, poor you. I hope that answered your question.
I think empathy is a super skill, and if we have it as clinicians and as humans, I think we can really change the world. So I think we'll go to the next question, please. So what are some simple practices that women can use to take care of their mental health and build resilience, according to you?
I think resilience is really important. One way definitely to start that is just being thankful for what you have, right? And what that does is it actually shifts our focus. So in today's world, we usually, oh, I want that. I want to live in that mansion. I want to have 3 kids. I want to have this job. I want to have this. So we're focused on lacking, right? If we just spend 5 minutes in the morning dedicated to, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for the job I have, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my health. What that does is it shifts our mindset, even for a second, but that second just builds and builds until one day your mindset is actually grateful and focused on what you have. Right? I can walk, I can breathe, I can smell, I have family, I have friends that care about me. We can focus on this rather than focusing on the lack. So that is one way we can build resilience. Another very powerful way to build resilience is to understand that challenges come, stresses come, but there's also so much we can do to combat these things, right? So to accept life, right? Just accept things. The good, the bad, they will come. The bad will come and it will go, right? The good will come and it will go. Just accept it, enjoy it, live in the moment. I think when you understand that, and when you can do that, that is resilience, and that's when you will become more powerful in your